Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, things are a little different. I'm playing around, trying to see what I like, what I don't like, all that good stuff. You guys asked to see this makeup look, and I figured what better way to work on my lighting than to do some makeup, right? So this is the makeup look that was in my Top Balance Deep Conditioners. So it's like this really pretty pinky glam situation. This look features the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions medium nude palette, which is absolutely stunning. I picked this up a while ago because I figured it would be a great basic palette to have. And I can't even tell you guys, I mean, look at those shades. I have just been loving this palette, and it honestly, even though it's the medium one, I feel like it suits my skin tone very well. So I used some of the pinkier shades in this palette, and I also used my Jackie Aina palette because this is like a necessity for brown girls. So I used some of the pinkier shades in this palette as well. If you haven't seen it, that's what it looks like. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this super gorgeous blown out pinky glam, then just keep watching. All right guys, let's get into it. So I've already primed with my Touch in Sol No Poreblem primer, and we're going to go ahead into brows. My absolute favorite brow product of all time is the Colourpop Precision Brow Pencil, and I use the shade Black and Brown. So if you've seen any of my makeup videos before, you know that I kind of go on with like a preliminary like shaping, sculpting moment. So I just like to lightly go ahead and start defining, going ahead and adding some color to my brows, and I just like to brush them out and then kind of move on from there. And I also took my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer to just shape up the bottom. I don't usually do this, but I found that I was kind of like a little blind using these new lights and things, so I went ahead and just carved that out a little bit just to clean up some of the messes that I made from trying to, you know, keep the angles into account. And then I went ahead and took some more product, and I also used the Instant Age Rewind to just cover up some dark circles. I find that this works the best for me. If I go too orange, sometimes it's a little bit harder to cover. So this works out because it's like that perfect golden shade for me. So I go ahead and use that to cover up my dark circles, like my upper lip, and then just some dark marks that I have on my chin. And I'm just blending that out with my Sonia Kashuk sponge. This sponge is dope. It's not as soft and bouncy as the Beauty Blender, but this is still really nice, and I like how large it is once you wet it too. Alright, and then of course, I'm going to go in with my powder puff, and I'm going to set down my primer. And to do that, I'm using my Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Powder. If you watch Jackie Aina, then you know this trick is tried and true. I love to do this if I need just a little bit of extra help with my oiliness. And then I'm going into the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation, and I'm in the shade 11 Neutral. Y'all, I love this foundation, but just know, if you decide to pick this up, you only need one pump. This foundation will get very sticky if you over apply. But I love this because it literally makes you look airbrushed and flawless. I can use this for a super beat look, or I can use it just, you know, really sheer it out and get a really nice, beautiful, natural coverage. And I just like to apply this in sections with my Real Techniques 001 brush. And then I'm going in with my Urban Decay Stay Naked Concealer. And this is in the shade 60WR. So do know that these concealers are supposed to be like correcting concealers, so they can be a little bit difficult to shade match. So that's why the shade name sounds off from what really goes on with my skin tone. But I'm just applying that to my under eyes for some extra coverage, also my eyelids to prime, and then of course just like the center of my face to go ahead and brighten a little bit. And make sure you use a damp beauty blender to blend that baby out. And then I just added a little bit more to my inner corners just because sometimes I kind of miss them a little bit and they'll look gray when my makeup is finished. So I'm just going back in just to make sure that's nice and bright because I do have those deep set inner corners. And then I'm going back in with my Laura Mercier loose translucent powder. This stuff is life. And I don't bake. I just like to really press the powder in with a damp beauty blender, and I find that gives me a really beautiful finish without the texture that baking can give. So if you have issues with texture, especially under your eyes, try doing this, just like a really nice light set and really pressing it in. And then I'm going into my Maybelline powder. Honestly, I don't even know if this has a name anymore. I don't know what this is, but the shade is Coconut. I've had this powder for a while and it's a beautiful finish. It really does kind of help with my oils and I really like the color as well. I'm not super picky about powder, so I just go in with my Laura Mercier Puff and it does the job. And as you can see, I'm going in with my Huda Beauty medium nude obsession palette, and I'm using that light pinky shade in the palette. These 9pan palettes don't have names, but that's okay. They don't need names. They're so beautiful. I'm using this light pinky shade to kind of run across my inner crease and of course the upper crease. I have a very tiny lid space, and so I have a lot of space up top to work with, and so in doing this I'm basically creating the illusion that I have more of a crease than I actually do. And then I'm going into the Aina palette. I love this palette so much, and I'm going to use the shade Supreme. So I'm going to take this shade, it's like a kind of like a hot pinky shade with like a dash of baby pink, and I'm going to use that to start defining my actual crease. So I'm really working that color into the crease first and then gradually blowing it out from there to kind of mesh it with that pinkier shade from the Huda Beauty palette. And I'm using both of these palettes because I wanted more of like that hotter pink look, and the Huda palette is definitely more of a neutral palette, so it wasn't going to give me that depth. And then I'm going into Pinker from the Aina palette. This is kind of like a deepened magenta color, and I'm using that to define my outer crease. So I'm really blowing that out, really taking that like past my brow bone, and then I'm going back in and patting that shade in directly and then further blending it out. As you can see, I pretty much like use like 1 or 2 brushes for my eyeshadow looks because I have so much lid space. It doesn't really help to have like a bunch of like smaller brushes and things like that. I can usually get away with just using one. And then I'm just going back into all those colors, building the color up, so you can see me doing that with Supreme. And then I'm going back in with that shade from the Huda palette and further blending it out so it's seamless. And then I'm going to take my Urban Decay brush. I dampened it with some all-nighter spray. Use any spray you have. And I'm going into this really beautiful reflective deep pink shade that's in the Huda palette. Y'all, the lighting does not give this eyeshadow justice. I mean, in the sunlight, it just looks like pink crystals on your lid. It's so beautiful. And then once I'm done with that, I'm just going back in and further defining my brows with my Colourpop brow pencil, and then moving on to eyeliner. This is the Anastasia liquid eyeliner, and y'all, this stuff is so beautiful. It's black, it's super precise. It takes a minute to get used to it because it is a felt tip, but it's become one of my favorite eyeliners. So I'm just going in and doing a nice wing, nice and sharp with the Anastasia, and I'm telling y'all, the precision on this is just dope. And I'm going into my NYX blush in Dusty Rose, and it is what it says, a nice dusty rose color, and I'm just giving some blush to my cheeks and my nose, and then going in with Bobbi Brown Bronze Glow. This stuff is like the traditional beautiful highlight. And I'm just using that on the high points of my face, cheekbones, eyebrows, nose, Cupid's bow, all that good stuff. I love this highlighter so much. As you can see, it's very used. And then I'm going into the Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in Summer Lovin'. I don't know if they make this anymore, but I'm pretty sure they probably have something comparable online. And I'm just using this to highlight my inner corner, and then setting with some all-nighter setting spray from Urban Decay. And I like to pat my setting spray in just to give that nice seamless finish. And then I'm going in with my Kat Von D liner and crucifix. They're actually KVD Vegan Beauty now. So Kat Von D is no longer affiliated with the brand. So you can purchase this and none of your money will go to her if you have beef with Kat Von D. So this is in the shade Crucifix. I love this liner. Super creamy, retractable. It's dope and it's a beautiful chocolatey brown shade. And then I'm using a throwback. Who remembers matte cream in your coffee? I love this lipstick. I thought I lost it and then I found it and I've been using it for the last like month and a half. But I just love the beautiful pinky tones that it has in it and that beautiful cream finish. But I'm not done, of course. I'm gonna go in, define a little bit more, and then it is time for some gloss. So I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fussy. Y'all, I'm in love with these gloss bombs, and why didn't anybody tell me about Fussy? It is the perfect, like, pinky, sheer glossy shade. It's amazing. I've been using it for a while. And then this is the finished look. I love this look so much, guys. Like, I've been doing it since I filmed that video, and I'm so happy you guys requested it. If you decide to recreate this look, make sure you tag me on Instagram and let me know. And of course, let me know if you would like to see more mini tutorials like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.